This is my buddy Ian Good from the Transformative Robotics Lab at the University of Washington, and he's going to tell me why I'm holding a bunny.
Well, Joel, we're here to pick up this bunny. We've created an algorithm that can take an object and then generate a gripper and a path to pick it up with a robot.
Normally when we talk about robots picking up something, like you out there in the audience probably remember Armatron, a Radio Shack special.
Armatron is out of this world, Mason. Over? Roger, Roger.
You had these little joysticks that controlled the movement of a robot, and it had fingers at the end to grip something. And so what you're saying is, in this hand, I have a way of gripping this bunny, but without articulation.
Exactly.
Can I try?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so here's the bunny, and this is how it's sitting. And this is essentially, I have to pretend that I'm a robot.
Yes.
So just like this, comes in.
Yep.
And then it holds it. Oh, just like that. So this is gripped. This is gripped. And if this is the robotic arm attached here, I can give it to you.
Exactly, you can.
Oh, take the bunny.
Oh, take the bunny.
There you go. How do you pick up geometry that's like this with a rigid shape?
Absolutely, it's a good question. First, we take the object and we grab 3 random points from its surface. And then we make a bunch of those guesses as to what would be the best points to pick up.
Random. These are just random points all over.
Exactly, all random. And then we sort them by how stable they would be.
This looks like more than just 3 points. This looks like, I mean, I can tell, well, let's see. If it picks it up this way, let's see if I can get that in there. Something like this. I would imagine points are here, and there's a point on the ear.
Exactly.
Probably. But this skeleton looks like there's more than just these 3 points connected. So how does that happen?
So when we go from the skeleton, we take a big block of material, and we assume that's our gripper. And then we cut out the path that the bunny, or the object that we're picking up, takes out of that region.
Oh, so almost like in Tinkercad, if you have a cube and you have the bunny, you can just subtract the bunny from the cube.
Simple subtraction.
Oh, okay.
And then we throw that into a topology optimizer, and that's how you get this shape.
Okay, because this did look organic. That makes sense. So then you start with this block of material that's your static, non-articulated gripper, and then you subtract the object that you want to grip, and then using topology optimization, you have your 3 points and you have your attachment to the robot, and topology optimization just subtracts material until it gets to what I assume this is the minimum amount of material needed to support it at the 3 points.
Yeah.
What problem does this solve? Because if personally, if I had a robotic arm, I would think that an articulated gripper at the end is super valuable to have because I can pick up almost anything I want. How does this solve a problem that the articulated gripper cannot? Or how does this, why would someone want this over an articulation?
Yeah, so one point is cost, right? Articulated grippers can be really expensive, like $5,000 expensive. Whereas printing
my Armatron was not that much at the time. We're talking about industrial.
Yes, we're talking about industrial robotic grippers.
Okay.
Printing this, you could take the gripper that we have coming up. It might be 100 grams, 200 grams of material. So like $2 to $5, right? Way cheaper than $5,000.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Way cheaper. Way cheaper. And so this isn't necessarily solving the problems of being able to grip a bunch of things. This is very uniquely positioned in that if you, at an industrial scale, run many of a certain thing, this is where this comes into play.
Exactly.
According to your algorithm, you can probably grip other things. And we have a robot.
That we do.
Can we?
Let's do it.
We are now set to run the robot and pick up a pyramid. And, well, okay. Ian, what kind of robot is this?
This is a Universal Robotics UR5.
A Universal Robotics UR5. I'm putting it out there in the world. I want one.
I gotta get me one of those.
This gripper, then, has been through all the things that we talked about before. It analyzed this pyramid shape, and now the robot is going to just pick it up.
That's what we're gonna do.
All right, I want to see it.
Excellent, let's do it. There you go.
I love how effortless that is.
Yeah, it's really fun watching this.
Okay, Ian, it's a pyramid.
Yep.
Can we, I mean,
bunny
I have the bunny. Can we put the bunny on?
Let's put the bunny on.
All right, let's do it. Are we ready for the bunny?
We're ready for the bunny.
Okay. 3. Oh, can I count down?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. What in the heck? That is crazy. That is freaking crazy. I love the motion of that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
What else you got?
We got tons more.
Let's pick up all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah! Well, first of all, this is research, and I think you had mentioned sub-millimeter tolerance is what we're playing with. Obviously, some of the shapes are for testing and extreme tests, right? Of shapes and geometry of whether or not it can pick it up. Obviously, we got the mustard there. That was really cool. Mustard worked.
Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
In the spirit of research, in the spirit of testing, I had 2 models that I sent to you
Yes.
to test out. One was 3D Benchy, ubiquitous among the global 3D printing community. And Mini Joel, designed by my buddy Wexter, also ubiquitous within the 3D printing community. So were you able to use your algorithm to design non-articulated grippers for these 2 models?
We
Were you?
were.
Okay, let's test it out.
Let's check it out. Perfect. I tested it once and it didn't work.
It's super not going to work. We can just say that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go! So Ian, this failed, but in the spirit of research, this is an acceptable outcome, right?
Absolutely.
And why did this fail?
So the reason that this failed is we tried to grab you by your eyes, which turns out
That sounds awful.
it does sound awful. And there's a lot of curvature right around your eyes.
That's true.
And so if we were off by even the tiniest of a millimeter,
Okay.
then instead of going up, the forces that we're applying to Mini Joel are going towards Mini Joel, and
Oh,
that
that's-
caused him to tip over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it turns out when we run our algorithm, we actually generate more than one solution.
Oh.
So we've got a couple other solutions to test out on Mini Joel. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect.
Yeah! Woo! Oh, that was so effortless. Yeah!
Woo!
Ian, we did it.
We did it.
We did it. Research is a lot of fun, as it turns out, and even when something didn't succeed, it was still a valid case. This is really interesting, and I bet people out there are going to be really interested in finding out more about this. And so here, look at the audience and tell them how they can find out more about this awesome project.
Absolutely. Hey friends, you can find out more about us at the Transformative Robotics Lab website, and you can read our paper in SIGGRAPH.
Ooh, SIGGRAPH.
Yeah.
Okay, who else worked on this with you? Just make sure, let's shout out some names.
Absolutely. So this was certainly not just me. Tom and Millen wrote all of the algorithms for this,
Thanks, Tom.
and we had fantastic advice from our advisors, Jeff Lipton and Adriana Schultz.
There we go. This was a lot of fun. Honestly, I challenge everyone out there to make one of these, or at least go read the paper. But as far as making one, with the paper and the algorithm, being able to implement this at home, someone could do this on their own Ender 3 machine and make a little gripper that picks up their own little model.
Absolutely. Code's on GitHub.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, listen, if you made this fire awesome, don't forget to hug each other more. Look into this. It's awesome. And as always, nice. High five.